My cheating fiancée claimed her affair was only a test, so I told her we were done and walked away. So there I was, thinking life was rolling along fine, when my fiancée drops a bomb that turned everything upside down, tried telling me her cheating was some kind of test to see if I'd stick around, but I wasn't buying it, so I grabbed my hat and hit the road. Let me take you back to how this mess kicked off. It was just yesterday when I met up with her at this fancy spot where we were supposed to tie the knot in 4 months. We were there to hammer out the last details, flowers, cake, all that jazz. We didn't ride together since she was coming straight from her job, and I'd been running errands all day. Near the end of our chat with the planner, she mentions her buddy needs to swing by with a rental car and could use a lift home after. Asked if I was cool with it. I said sure, no sweat, it's not far from our place, and I've known this friend forever. I get home, kick off my boots, and start wondering where she's at. 3 hours go by, and she's not picking up my calls or texts. After about an hour and a half, I'm getting antsy, so I shoot a message to her friend, asking if she got there alright, because I'm starting to think something's wrong. Finally, she strolls in, looking all casual, saying it took longer than she thought, hung out with her pal for a bit before heading back. I'm like, alright, just give me a heads up next time, no harm done. Then her friend texts me back a few minutes later with a curveball, says she never made it to the venue, didn't even see my fiancé that night. I'm scratching my head, asking why she'd say that, and she's like, beats me, I can't control what your girl says, then steps outside. Now I'm freaking out, feeling like something's off big time. I've never been the snooping type, but I couldn't shake it. I dug into her phone records, and yeah, I did it, no apologies. Turns out, right after she stepped out, she called that same friend who texted me, and there's this hour-long call with some random number while she was driving to the venue. I start asking her stuff like where they picked up the rental car, tossing out a bunch of questions, and she's firing back answers quick, smooth as butter, almost too smooth. I'm thinking maybe I'm losing it, maybe I need to sleep it off and quit being paranoid. Next morning, I ask her to show me the text from her friend begging for that ride, promising I'd say sorry for doubting her if she could prove it. She flat out refuses. I bring up how I saw her yapping on the phone when I caught up to her on the way to the venue, asking who it was. She says it's the friend she picked up later, except I know that's bull because of the records. I call her out, tell her I checked the logs, and she switches gears fast, claiming it was a work buddy she had to meet about some patient stuff. I ask who this guy is, why she couldn't just talk it over the phone, and she says it's Michael, needed to show him some hands-on tricks in person. By now, I'm a nervous wreck. We don't lie to each other, never have, and this ain't sitting right. I asked to see her texts with this Michael dude, she shuts me down hard, won't budge. I'm like, if it's all innocent, why hide it? Are you stepping out on me? Do you even want us anymore? She stops dead, then unloads a laundry list of my flaws: work too much, don't hang out with her enough, don't listen worth a damn. I'm floored, this is all news to me, never heard a peep about it before. It's clicking now, something shady's going on, so I push to see those texts again. Takes me half an hour of begging, but she caves, and holy hell, they're wild, steamy as all get out, trashing me left and right, talking about how she's head over heels for him, how they're basically soulmates. She started this gig a month and a half ago, he's her co-worker, old enough to be her dad, going through a divorce with a handful of kids. Here's the kicker, I've been footing the bills for months while she got back on her feet, picking up extra shifts so she wouldn't have to sling burgers part-time. We've got a house together, 3 dogs, even a horse, she lives there too. I'm a mess, didn't see this train wreck coming, and we were 4 months from saying I do. Anybody got some wisdom for me? Alright, here's the first update, sat down with her tonight to hash this out again. She comes in swinging, pinning the whole mess on me, saying her sneaking around and lying is because I don't talk enough or listen good. Claims she wouldn't have started chatting up this guy if I'd been more present, too busy at the office, not giving her enough of my time. I tell her I was busting my hump to keep us afloat while she was figuring things out, so she wouldn't need a second job. She hits back that she'd rather have flipped pizzas than me work late, makes no sense, right? Says it was just a week-long fling, only locked lips once, thinks we can sweep it under the rug. I bring up those nasty texts where she's ripping me apart and getting all hot and heavy with him, she dodges like a pro, and I get nowhere. I tell her this ain't my fault, she crossed a line, should have opened her mouth to me first instead of running wild, trust shot now, and that's on her, not me. She can blame me all she wants, that's her call. Things cool off a bit, and I say we gotta sort out the house we own together and the dogs. We figure either I stay and pay her share, or we sell it and split to new digs. Dogs-wise, one of us takes one, the other gets two. That's where we landed tonight, and I'll keep you posted. What would you do about the house? I can swing it solo money-wise, but it's a big old place, 3,000 square feet, 5 acres, just for her horse, and she's taking that when she goes, boarding it somewhere. Day 3 rolls around, and we sit for a 3-hour heart-to-heart about us and how we got here. She starts with my screw-ups, don't talk enough, work too long, always glued to my phone. I ain't denying it, worked my tail off to keep the family going. I've got this online store on the side, just me handling folks' gripes and orders, deals popping off all hours, I'm never off duty. Could've put the phone down more, answered people later, sure. But the not talking bit? That's a two-way street, she never once told me she was miserable, so how was I supposed to know? Says she figured I'd blow up if she brought it up, but never gave me a shot to fix it. I'm no saint, sometimes I say stuff she takes the wrong way, like a couple weeks back, trying to help her budget her cash troubles, get her on track. I do money stuff for a living, help clients all the time. She owed me about $1,000, said she'd pay me back next check. I said it's more than that, let's check the transfers I sent to our shared account, turns out it's over $5,000. Wasn't trying to shame her, just show what I'd been pitching in, she thought I was rubbing her nose in it. I was just keeping us above water, especially with wedding bills piling up, but she says I'm too money obsessed lately. Her acting like my flaws made her cheat drives me up the wall, I keep telling her I didn't toss 7 years out, she did when she stepped out. Says I blabbed to too many folks too fast, we could have fixed it quiet like, and wouldn't have happened if I'd listened better. I finally pieced together the fling, believe it from the texts I saw, they started texting a week or 2 back. Not sure if they met outside work before, but this time, he asked her to shoot hoops at the park and talk, she went, and they ended up kissing. I reckon that's as far as it got, but it was heading somewhere worse, no doubt. She swears he's not her man. She took off tonight, no clue where, maybe with him or a gal pal. Living together's weird now, but I hope it's over soon. Think she wants me back, to patch things up. Problems been brewing forever, we got lazy, lived our dull little life, never talked about what was eating at us, and it festered. She acted out instead of speaking up, lied to my face, badmouthed me plenty. She's sneaky as hell, and I don't think I can trust her again. Easiest thing would be to stay, but I'd never be happy. Figuring out why this happened helps me breathe, gonna work on my own crap, see things different. Hit the gym today, gonna keep that up, and get back to studying for my financial planner cert. Took a week off work to clear my head. Cancelled the wedding spot today, got some cash back, lost some unless they rebook the date, which ain't likely. Talked to her folks again, they're far off, worried sick, I keep saying it's all good, no panic needed. With rates like they are, I can't find a house like this for the mortgage I've got, apartments cost more these days. Best bet's buying her out, letting her grab a place, she's okay with that so far. Appraisers coming to figure the equity split, see if I can swing it. What do you think, am I on the right track here, or should I switch gears? Almost a month's gone by since this blew up, and man, it's been a ride, busy, teary, and full of twists. First few days, I was a wreck, begging her to take me back, pathetic, I know, but it's how it went, part of getting through it. Tried everything to fix it while I was down, but nada worked. She had to pick me or him, and she picked him, which slapped me awake. Realized I'd let myself go to pot, needed to focus on me, what I need. After 7 years of living for her, that's tough, but I've been doing it. Moved our joint savings to my account, figured what she owed me, sent half back for her. Been lifting weights daily, feels good looking better and thinking straight. Bought some sharp suits, got a massage, hung out with buddies and kin. That relationship kept me cut off from them, should have seen that red flag waving. Never did stuff for me, buying clothes wasn't my thing, always worried about her and the critters. Started therapy weekly, first time ever, helps me sort my choices, gonna keep it up. Still in the house with her, she's in the spare room, only words are about feeding the dogs. She's awful, thinks this is all my doing, blaming me for not talking, then not talking herself and cheating? That's her crazy excuse. Quit reasoning with her, she's beyond it. Pushing to sell the house, called an agent, liked their price, but she wanted 2 more opinions, one from her friend's guy. I set it all up, met M, even though I always did the heavy lifting in this deal unfair, but I'll do it to get out. Went with the first agent, pics snapped Sunday, listed that night, open house next Saturday, already buzzing online. She's taking the horse to a barn somewhere, still figuring that out. Offered to take 1 dog or none, she's keeping all 3 to stick together. They're a tight crew, and I don't want to split M, plus, I get a fresh start. Met a gal a week back, spending time with her, no big hopes, but she's cool, been through this herself, helps me out. Talking to her, kind, smart, stands on her own, shows me how selfish my ex was, needy and slick. Should have listened to family years ago. Been 4 months since this all crashed down, and it's wild how time smoothed it out, hoping if some poor soul finds this, they see it gets better. Shared the house with her till mid-May, heard like hell being there with her and the dogs, knowing my old life was toast. We were roommates who couldn't stand each other, tried dodging her, but no dice. Slept in different rooms, dogs roamed free at night, doors open. After a bit, she quit crashing elsewhere, stuck around, but the texting and calls never stopped, think they didn't date but stayed pals, didn't ask, didn't care. She moved out mid-May with 2 dogs, saying bye to them gutted me, like losing family. Last month there, met her and the pups at the dog park a couple times, they knew me, wagged their tails, but were fine without me, eased my mind. Barely talked to her, just dog stuff. She's in a beat-up house in a rough spot, yard for the dogs, no fence yet, last I heard she's working on it. I hit the gym every day, poured sweat into my side gig, knew cash would get tight. From March to June 15th when I left, pulled 6 figures in sales, didn't splurge, saved a pile plus the house sale money. Bought a sweet place in a good area, decent yard for my 1 dog. Selling was smooth, buying was a nightmare, offered on 5 places, nabbed the last one end of May. Old buyers let me rent back till June 15th. New spots home now, been here a month plus. Still with that gal, my girlfriend now, live closer to her, which is nice. She's golden, helped me through this, gets my need for space and mood swings. Never had someone talk so straight, makes me better at it too, sharper emotionally. Life's good now, this sucked, but I'm glad it happened. Was gonna marry a selfish ingrate, stayed cause I loved the routine, the house, the animals, didn't want to shake things up, even miserable. Keeping it myself, my dogs living large. Think of her sometimes, good and bad flashes. Therapist says I won't get that sorry I want, she's too proud. Barely talk to her, won't see her or the other dogs again, best for all. Life's moving on, and I'm done posting about it, thanks for riding along and propping me up.